Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story in which a customer threw a tantrum because his coupon was applied incorrectly. I feel a little sorry for ROP. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Come on, man. Really? My store has a weekly $5 off a certain amount sale each Saturday. No problems there. It's the digital coupon for this sale that bothers me. You know why? Because it doesn't get priority over other coupons during checkout. What happened tonight really put that in perspective. There's an older man who I only see on Saturday for the sale. Normally he's really calm, but tonight he acted different after I told him his total. The register didn't take his $5 off coupon. This time he had an unused $3 off coupon that usually takes priority during checkout. He told me the small bowl of dog food should be free because of a vendor coupon, and it was. After checking and adding up his savings, we saw it wasn't $5 off. He asked if I could just knock off the $2 since the register chose the wrong coupon, and I told him I'm not in control of which coupon the register uses, and he looked very disappointed. Old man: so there's nothing you can do about this giving me the wrong deal? How long have you been working here that they haven't showed you how to do that? That makes no sense. Just go in and take the $5 off instead. That or change the price since I'm a regular. Me: I'm sorry, but I can't do anything about this. If there's a coupon that's less than our current sale, then it takes priority. This has nothing to do with my decision. I can ring everything back up and try again, but if the $3 off is all it'll do, my hands are tied. He looks pissed. I've never seen him frown, let alone look or sound angry. He tells me to take an item off to see if it'll work, like that would change anything, but I do it anyway to prove a point. $3 off coupon pops up again, and now he's finally calming down, only to see it was still there. Old man: now I know you're doing it. There's no way it would use the same coupon twice. I don't want $3 off. I want $5 off. Fix it, or I'm calling your manager up here to do it for you. Me: sir, I've done nothing but scan your items, hit total, and tell you what to pay. There's no decision on my part. There's also no change I can make on this transaction. I have nothing else to tell you. He looked so mad. Old man: then take all of it off so I can go somewhere else. I'm tired of all these stores telling me how my money works. Thanks for nothing. Me: okay, I'll take everything off. Have a good night. He grabs his buggy by the handle, swings it off sideways, hitting another woman's buggy. She wasn't paying attention, so she was basically gut-punched by the handle of her cart out of nowhere. I told him it'd be best if he didn't come back here because he'll be asked to leave on site. He'll be banned by Monday. All this over $2 extra? Shameful. By the way, I was the manager tonight. He would have had to ask me to fix a problem for myself. He probably assumed I was the cashier because mine was in the bathroom. Edit: I've seen people say that I should have just changed the price for him. I made a mistake for losing a regular customer because I didn't care and it was only $2. These are digital coupons, so it's entirely out of my control. I don't even know if there are coupons that'll work until I hit total. I do care about my customers. I tried changing his price a couple of times, but the system wouldn't let me. Yes, I acted poorly for telling him not to return, but it was the heat of the moment. I'll thoroughly apologize to him if he returns. I left out me trying to change the prices because I thought that was obvious. I don't see this as bait and switch because he already had an existing coupon on his account. I called my manager this morning and she said the only thing I did wrong was tell him not to come back. She knows him, so she'll explain it better next time she sees him. A lot of people siding with the old guy. Yeah, it sucks that your coupon was switched unexpectedly, but $2 is a minor inconvenience. And he recklessly hurt someone throwing a tantrum? And our second story: $6,000 and a fired boss. This was an ongoing issue for months, but I'll keep it as short as I can. This is a story about getting back at my corporate boss that was a Kevin-type boss. You know, the one who acts high and mighty but was the dumbest in town type? Won't say the company name or the real names. So I worked for a convenience store for a good while. I'd worked up the ladder to become a manager and was liked by the customers and employees. I was the one vendor's love because I didn't leave them on a super tight leash. All in all, I believed I was a good manager, and some of my old employees and customers want me back after I quit. If it was going so well, why would I have left? The same reason many quit: bad corporate bosses. See, I didn't just deal with people, I was dealing with bad equipment that needed to be fixed regularly. It would cut into the store's budget, but I used that money for employee parties or cash rewards besides employees of the month. I saw the issue and took action. I would fix the issues myself. I have many certifications to fix many different things, so I decided, rather than wait for our maintenance to come 4 days after the issue was brought up to just look at it, it then took them another 2 to 3 days to fix at times, so I fixed it instead. We're talking issues from as simple as card reader errors to the whole system being down, mechanical fixes to equipment that varied widely, as many things were well past their prime. If I couldn't fix it, then it needed to be replaced is what it came down to. My regional manager knew my skills, as did the owner. They were working to get me on their maintenance crew. This was until the buyout. The owner had gotten to the point in life that he wanted to spend it quietly with family. The new company stepped in, and this is when things took its turn. There's a guy who stood above, or felt that way, the regional management. He came in every so often to check in on the stores in the area. From the get-go, he didn't like me, and was told he never acted that way in other stores. Well, he'd come in one day to see me fixing one of our slushy machines. He yelled that I shouldn't be doing that and should be directing the store. I trusted my team. They were all good workers and knew what to do. He pointed out how stuff was not pulled forward. Literally, some things were just missing one item, or how the drinks were not facing brand name out. I'd explained that the slushy machine makes more sales and that it needs to be fixed now. He told me that as a manager, I do not have the qualifications to do something like that and could break it. All valid to a point. I thought, you don't know what my qualifications are. So from that day on, I was not to fix anything. After I explained everything I fixed, I tried to explain my qualifications and that I was told by the last owner they was going to try to have me on the maintenance team. He didn't like this at all. He basically told me that would never happen. Well, our store went from having the least tickets to one of the most maintenance tickets. Each ticket would cost as low as $250 or as much as $800. This was just to get the tech there, plus part cost after it was needed. Our sales started to go down as well. Why? Because the equipment wouldn't have the same day fix it used to have. Couldn't use the card reader? Time for a ticket. The whole store system is down? Time for a ticket. You could say I was maliciously complying to this Kevin. He would always try to overstep me. Our cooler went out and I had to get a Band-Aid fix, so I had different vendors give me a floor cooler until this was resolved. When it was, I kept one. Why? My insight to the possible sales. Afterwards, every store got the same cooler for a new product I knew was coming out. I always liked being ahead of the game. I would often get yelled at because our sales were down. It came to a point that a meeting was held. I was asked why, and so I provided why. It was one of my finest moments. I laid it all out on the table. The disrespect, the blatant ignoring my recommendations, the reason why things were no longer being fixed properly, and all of my certifications. Kevin didn't like that I was right, so the meeting turned from a why sales to a why Kevin meeting. My regional manager told him I had been doing this for years and wondered why it was a problem. It got pretty heated quickly. Kevin wasn't fired, but I was allowed to run my store the way I wanted again. Kevin kept his antics up, so the week before I left, I knew some equipment would fail. After working on it for so long, you notice the signs of it failing. This one was tricky to fix. Why? Because it needed a system restart as well as a breaker box on and off, then it needed a software reset on the devices. The reason it needed this was because of the system they implemented was basically confusing itself. It didn't help that the server was not set up properly either. It was one of the worst setups I've ever seen, honestly. Don't get me started on the store's main computer, just why was never that updated from 20 years ago. Well, when I left, I was getting calls on how to fix it, of course. I told them I no longer worked there, and if they wanted my services, it's going to cost them. They asked how much, and I set my price to $500. They laughed and said no. Well, I heard from the grapevine that it cost them $6,000. Why? They replaced the server, all the registers, all the card readers, and the computer. The reason it cost $6,000 wasn't just the physical upgrades, though. Oh, no. It was also because they found out the system was trash. When it came to light how Kevin truly was, He was let go. I now live my life as someone who owns their own tech company. I think Kevin was very lucky he didn't get fired the first time. Only managers like him can come in and try to ruin what was working fine before. And our last story. Neighbors trying to enforce HOA rules on me. Long story short, my house/lot and my neighbor's house/lot both look like they're part of a subdivision, but we aren't. We have proof that we were never part of the original plat and that we have no deed restrictions confirmed by our township in writing on their letterhead. All other homeowners have deed restrictions, i.e. all campers and boats must be stored in a fully enclosed garage. We also have proof that the subdivision never formally formed an HOA, therefore they don't collect fees or meet or have bylaws. We've been receiving anonymous letters trying to scare us into conforming to these deed restrictions. My husband and I have a camper on the side of our house which abides by township ordinances, using a local attorney's name as the author, who was one of the original developers. I called the attorney and he said he did not send any of the letters and has not been part of that project for more than 10 years. The letters have threatened legal action. I've probably received 8 now, but of course can't confront the author of the letter because I don't know who they are. The attorney, by the way, is not happy someone's using his name and now business address as the return address on the envelope and wants to send a cease and desist order, but again, we don't know who the true author is. This most recent letter is the first time they use the attorney's office address as the return address rather than listing no return address. Might be just enough for the post office to investigate or define it as mail fraud. Once I file the police report and notify the USPS, I'll let the attorney know I did those 2 things. Maybe it'll be enough to get him interested and light a fire in his belly. I don't know what idiot thinks it's a good idea to use an attorney's name and office without permission. What about some pink flamingos, large political signs, decorations for Halloween and Christmas put up, and maybe get some flags to hang on the porch? I'm sure someone would boil over enough that they'd come out of the woodwork. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.